The chandeliers shimmered above the grand ballroom, crystal light spilling across polished marble floors and the echo of clinking glasses. My pulse quickened the moment my husband, Ethan, leaned toward me. His voice cut sharp against the laughter around us. "Darcy," he said, low enough for only me to hear. "How's the car I left in the garage?" My smile faltered. I stared at him, confused. "What car?" Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from. Which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us. What would you do in this situation? Be honest. Tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. The air snapped like a whip. His expression hardened instantly. His blue eyes, usually calm, turned to steel. The music, the chatter, the wine glasses, all of it blurred as he shifted his gaze past me and locked on my older brother Ryan, who stood across the hall, basking in attention with that smug grin. Of his Ethan's jaw tightened. His voice, loud now, cut through the gala like a blade. "Hand over the keys." The room fell silent. Dozens of heads turned, forks froze halfway to mouths. Ryan's smirk twitched, but he tried to play it off, raising his glass. "I don't know what you're talking about, Ethan." "Don't," Ethan snapped, his tone sharp enough to slice the air. He stepped forward, shoulders squared, the entire gala watching as if a stage play had suddenly erupted before them. Darcy didn't even know about the car. That tells me everything I need. Where are the keys? My chest tightened as I glanced between them, heat rushing to my face. "Ethan, what's going on?" I whispered, but his hand brushed mine briefly. Steady, grounding. His eyes never left my brother. Ryan chuckled, though the sound cracked. "Look, if this is about that car." "That car?" Ethan's voice thundered now, echoing off the ballroom walls. "The one I bought for my wife as a gift? The one you decided to help yourself to?" Gasps rippled through the family crowd. My mother's wine glass clinked against the table. My father shifted uncomfortably, his lips pressed in a hard line. Nobody spoke. Ryan set down his drink, finally showing a sliver of nerves. "It was just sitting there," he muttered. "No one told me I couldn't." "You took it without asking," Ethan cut him off coldly. "That's called theft." A heavy silence dropped. The word theft echoed like a slap across the room. My stomach churned with humiliation, anger and confusion all at once. My own brother, stealing from us. And here it was, unraveling in front of every relative, every so-called friend of the family. Ryan straightened, trying to puff his chest. "This is ridiculous. We're family. Families share." Ethan laughed once, sharp and humorless. "You didn't share, Ryan. You stole. And you did it behind your sister's back, hoping she'd look stupid when I asked her. That's not family. That's betrayal." I froze. The word hit me harder than I expected. Betrayal. I'd felt it before, in whispered gossip about me, in the way relatives dismissed me as the quiet one who never stood up for herself. But hearing it declared out loud, with Ethan backing me in front of everyone. My heart pounded in my ears. Ryan's face flushed red, his voice cracking as he tried to save face. "You're overreacting. It's just a damn car." Ethan leaned closer, his voice like ice. "No, Ryan. It's about respect, and tonight you've shown you have none." The crowd whispered, shifting in their seats. I caught sight of my aunt covering her mouth, my cousins leaning in eagerly, hungry for drama. My mother hissed under her breath, "Ethan, please, this isn't the time." "It's exactly the time," Ethan shot back. His hand brushed mine again, but this time it wasn't just grounding. It was protective, as if he wanted me to know. "I will not let them humiliate you again." My lips trembled as I looked at my brother. I could feel every eye in the room pressing down on me, waiting for me to either defend him or stay silent. For the first time in years, I felt something sharp rising in my chest. Not fear, not shame, but fire. "Ryan," I said, my voice carrying, farther than I thought possible. "You didn't just take a car. You tried to make me look like a fool." His eyes darted to me, his jaw tightening. "You wanted me to stand here, embarrassed in front of everyone. You wanted them to laugh at me." My throat burned, but my voice grew stronger. "But the only one who looks pathetic right now is you." The silence that followed was louder than the music had ever been. Ethan's hand tightened around. Mine and Ryan's face collapsed into something bitter, ugly, cornered. And for the first time, I didn't look away. The ballroom buzzed like a hive after my words landed. My brother's face turned scarlet, but he forced a hollow laugh. "Pathetic? Really, Darcy? You're standing there letting him, your husband, turn you against your own blood. That's pathetic." My pulse roared in my ears. For years, Ryan had controlled the room with sarcasm and arrogance. But tonight, Ethan wasn't backing down, and neither was I. Ethan's voice was steady, but sharp enough to slice glass. "You've embarrassed your sister for the last time. Hand over the keys, Ryan, now." Ryan shoved his hand into his pocket, jaw grinding. He dangled the sleek black fob in the air, smirking. "You want it? Fine. Here." He tossed it, aiming carelessly toward Ethan. But the keys clattered on the marble floor between them, loud as gunfire. The crowd gasped. I flinched at the sound, the metallic ring echoing in my chest. Ethan didn't flinch. He stepped forward, picked them up with measured calm, and slipped them into my hand. The gesture was small but powerful. Ethan looked me straight in the eye, his voice warm yet firm. "This was always yours." My throat tightened, tears threatening. But before I could speak, Ryan barked out a laugh that scraped like sandpaper. "You're both ridiculous. It's a car. Do you know how stupid this looks? Do you know how many people here think you're overreacting?" Ethan's gaze swept the room, catching eyes that quickly darted away. "If defending my wife's dignity makes me look ridiculous," he said, "then maybe the problem isn't us. It's everyone sitting here watching her get disrespected." The words cracked the air open. Murmurs rippled across the tables. My father shifted uncomfortably. My mother shot Ryan a warning look, but no one moved to defend him. For once, Ryan was alone. I took a shaky breath, my voice steadier than I expected. "You always do this, Ryan. You take what isn't yours, then laugh when people call you out. You've been doing it since we were kids. And every time, the family excuses it. That's just Ryan being Ryan." I locked eyes with him, letting every ounce of anger burn through. "Not tonight. Tonight, everyone sees you for what you are." The heat spread across my chest. Not shame anymore, but something stronger. Liberation. Ryan's smirk faltered, but he jabbed a finger toward me. "Careful, little sister. Don't forget who always bails you out when you need help. You think Ethan will always be around? You think he won't get tired of your silence, your weakness?" Ethan's hand slammed down on the nearest table, rattling. Silverware. The room froze again. "Enough." His voice dropped to a growl. "You don't get to insult my wife, not here, not ever again." My mother's sharp voice broke in. "Ethan, please stop. This is a family matter." "No," Ethan shot back, eyes blazing. "This is a respect matter, and it ends tonight." I felt the room tilt, like years of silent battles finally teetering over the edge. My father cleared his throat, his face pale. "Ryan," he muttered, "apologize to your sister." The words hung heavy in the air. For a moment, even I doubted what I'd heard. My father, who never defended me, who always smoothed things over for Ryan, was forcing him to apologize. Ryan's jaw clenched. "You're siding with her?" His laugh was sharp, but his voice cracked. "This is insane." Apologize, my father repeated, firmer this time. Ryan's eyes darted from my father, to me, to Ethan, the weight of the crowd pressing down. His arrogance wilted just slightly. His lips curled, but the words came out bitter and forced. I'm sorry. The apology felt hollow, like spit on the floor. But still, hearing it sent a shock through me. I had waited my entire life to hear Ryan forced into humility. Ethan's hand pressed against the small of my back, grounding me. You don't have to accept it, he whispered, his breath warm against my ear. I turned to Ryan, my voice firm. You're not sorry, and I don't need your apology. What I need is for you to understand that you can't walk over me anymore. Not with Ethan here. Not ever again. A wave of murmurs surged around us, louder now, like the crowd couldn't hold back anymore. I caught sight of my cousin whispering with wide eyes, my aunt shaking her head. My humiliation had transformed into something else. Their unease. Their realization that maybe I wasn't the weak one after all. Ryan's face twisted, but he didn't speak. For once, he had no comeback. The music started again, softer now, the band awkwardly filling the silence. But the tension lingered, heavy and sharp. Ethan leaned close to me, his hand finding mine, his voice low so only I could hear. This is just the beginning, Darcy. They've been underestimating you for too long. Let's show them who you really are. And for the first time, in years I believed him. The gala carried on, but the air was poisoned. Every laugh was strained, every smile brittle. The moment Ryan had been cornered, the entire night shifted. People weren't whispering about me anymore. They were whispering about him. I could feel the eyes following us, some pitying, most stunned. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the one shrinking under their stares. Ryan was. He leaned against the bar now, gripping his glass too tightly, forcing out loud jokes to anyone who'd listen, but no one laughed. The center of attention he'd always craved had curdled into isolation. Ethan slipped his arm around my waist, protective but proud. His voice was low, only for me. Look at them, Darcy. They finally see you. Not the quiet shadow they could push around. They see the woman who stood up and said enough. My chest burned, but not with shame this time. With something fiercer. I've never spoken to him like that before. I admitted. You didn't just speak, Ethan murmured. You owned the room. The words rattled inside me like a bell. For years, I had let Ryan's voice be louder, let my parents excuse him, let myself blend into the background. But tonight, under crystal chandeliers and judgmental eyes, something inside me snapped awake. Across the room, my aunt approached Ryan, her voice sharp enough for me to catch pieces. You humiliated yourself. Your sister's stronger than you think. You should have known better. Ryan's shoulders stiffened, his face darkening. His gaze flicked toward me, sharp, furious. My stomach tightened. That look wasn't embarrassment anymore. It was promise. Darcy. My mother's voice cut in, brittle but composed. She smoothed her gown, trying to hold dignity like a mask. Couldn't this have been handled quietly? You've stirred up so much drama, Ethan answered before I could. Drama happens when people cover up disrespect. Darcy didn't stir anything. Ryan did. She just refused to play along. My mother's lips pinched. You don't understand family dynamics. I understand respect, Ethan snapped. Calm but razor-edged. And I'll never apologize for demanding it for my wife. The word wife hit heavy in the air. I stood taller beside him, even as my mother turned away, muttering under her breath. For the first time, I didn't scramble to smooth things over. The band played louder, trying to distract from the storm, but the whispers wouldn't stop. Ryan's friends avoided his eyes. My father avoided mine. And for once, I didn't care. I excused myself to the balcony, needing air. The night wind was cool against my flushed skin, carrying the muffled music from inside. The city lights stretched wide and endless, like possibility. Ethan followed, his hand brushing mine. "You were incredible back there," he said. My voice cracked. "I don't feel incredible. I feel angry, like years of being dismissed just came crashing down all at once." "That's not anger," Ethan said softly. "That's clarity. You finally see your worth." I turned to him, my chest tight. And what if they never respect me? What if Ryan finds a way to twist this and make me look small again? Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we make sure he doesn't get the chance. I've already set things in motion, Darcy. That car was just the beginning. There's more they don't know." My heart skipped. His tone was calm, but there was weight in it, something unspoken. I searched his eyes. "What do you mean?" Before he could answer, the balcony doors swung open. Ryan stepped out, his smirk forced, eyes glittering with venom. "Well, well," he drawled, voice dripping with mockery. "The happy couple. Out here celebrating your big moment?" Ethan didn't move. His arm tightened around me. "Go back." Inside, Ryan. Ryan laughed, but the sound was empty. "You think this changes anything? You humiliate me in front of everyone. And what? Suddenly, Darcy's the hero? Please. She'll always be the quiet one, the forgotten one. And when you're done playing knight in shining armor, Ethan, she'll be right back where she belongs. In my shadow." The words burned hot under my skin, but for the first time I didn't shrink. I stepped forward, my voice sharp enough to cut. "No, Ryan. You're the one in the shadows now." His smile faltered. I held his gaze, steady and unflinching. "You've built your life on tearing me down, but tonight everyone saw the truth. You're not strong. You're desperate. And the more you try to step on me, the weaker you look." The silence stretched. Ryan's jaw worked, but no words came. Ethan's hand found mine again, his voice steady. "You heard her. Go back inside." For once, Ryan obeyed. He turned, sharply storming back into the Gala, his pride in tatters. I exhaled, my knees weak, but Ethan steadied me. "That," he whispered, a faint smile touching his lips, "was the sound of a woman who refuses to be invisible anymore." And for the first time, I believed it. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Ryan's look had promised it. He wasn't finished. And next time, the stakes would be even higher. The night dragged on, but Ryan's storm wasn't finished. I felt it in every sideways glare he threw across the ballroom, every muttered word that reached my ears. Ethan stayed close, calm but alert, his hand never far from mine. By the time the Gala wound down, tension crackled thicker than the perfume in the air. Guests slipped away, whispering about the scene they'd witnessed. But as we headed toward the exit, Ryan stepped into our path, his jaw tight, his smile poisonous. "You think you've won tonight," he hissed, his voice low so only we could hear. "But this isn't over, Darcy. You'll regret making me look weak." I froze, my stomach twisting. For years, that kind of threat had shut me down, sent me running. But not tonight. Ethan moved forward, but I lifted my hand, stopping him. My voice came steady, clear. "No, Ryan. You're the one who'll regret it. Because tonight, everyone finally saw the truth. You don't scare me anymore." His eyes narrowed, but the words hit harder than any shove could. He stepped back, muttering something under his breath, then stalked away, his shoulders rigid with defeat. Outside, the night air wrapped around me, cool and freeing. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was leaving an event smaller than when I'd arrived. I felt taller, stronger. Ethan opened the car door for me, his expression softening as I slid inside. Once he joined me, his hand found mine. Again, firm and grounding. "You were flawless," he said quietly. "Do you know how proud I am of you?" Tears pricked my eyes, but they weren't from shame anymore. They were from relief. From release. "For once, Ethan," I whispered, "I didn't just survive him. I stood up to him." He squeezed my hand. "And you'll never have to do it alone again." As the driver pulled away, the Gala lights faded behind us. My reflection in the window wasn't the timid woman I'd always seen. It was someone sharper, steadier. Someone finally free. But the moment wasn't just about Ryan. It was about me. About finally choosing not to be the family's silent target anymore. About realizing that I had a voice worth hearing. The next morning, messages poured in from relatives. Some offered apologies, awkward and overdue. Others sent quiet admiration, saying they wished they'd had the courage to call Ryan out years ago. For once, I wasn't invisible. And when Ryan finally texted me, a single bitter line that read, "You'll regret this," I didn't shake. I didn't cry. I simply deleted it, because the truth was clear. The only person drowning in regret was him. Ethan watched me put my phone down and smiled knowingly. "You've changed, Darcy, and it suits you." I leaned into him, the weight lifting off my shoulders. "No," I said softly. "I didn't change. I just finally stopped letting them bury me." The city moved on outside the window, but inside, I felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. And for the first time in my life, I knew. This wasn't just the end of Ryan's control. It was the beginning of me.